Hello.
Hey, good morning.
Hi. Hey, everyone. This is JHC and Friends. I love to feature local creatives, artists, influencers, and entrepreneurs. And I was lucky enough to meet Lauren at an event. It was a Women in Leadership
Mhm.
conference, I believe, at FSU. And somebody introduced us and they said, "You should have Lauren on the show." And I was like, "Okay, yes." And of course, she showed interest. So thank you, Lauren, for hopping on my humble show today.
Oh, of course.
So for those of you who aren't familiar with Lauren Mullinax, she is a musician and she has a tremendous story, which, by the way, I can't wait to hear about when you get a book to come out, because I think you should definitely have a book to talk about your
Yeah.
story.
I've had that a lot.
Um,
People say that all the time that I should be writing books and stuff. So,
oh, I hear it's a great process, even just to go through the process of capturing the timeline of your journey. And then you are very humble. You've already accomplished a lot, being so young. And so, for those who aren't familiar, you've been featured on Tallahassee Democrat Riot and Tallahassee Magazine, and you perform live for events. Lumid Music is your brand. Right. What was it, American Idol that you said? You go on auditions?
yeah, I do a lot of auditions and try to get somewhere with my music that way.
Yeah, and so, can you tell me a little bit about, like, just a little bit about your journey and how it led you to to become a musician? Because it's not the easiest, career path to take, so to speak. And then, and also, are you originally from Tallahassee? And,
Yeah.
what brought you to Tallahassee?
Well, I was born and raised here in Tallahassee, and I've moved away like college, and I've had opportunities like in Tampa and Orlando to perform music down there. But what drew me to the cello, that was my first like real instrument that I was like really passionate about. And I play anything with strings, but I heard the Jaws theme played on cello, and I was like, yes, I want to play that. And so I went home and I told my parents, hey, I signed up at school to play cello. And they're like, what's a cello? And what happened then was we ordered a cello on eBay, the early days of eBay, and it came like in this coffin type of case, like this big box. And when I opened it, it was broken. And then I got behind, like I felt so left out because everybody else had their instruments and was playing. And each week I was just waiting on another cello.
Oh my gosh, and you know how to play, like, up to 10 instruments, right? Like, that's so fascinating. I love it. Seems like you've hit a lot of road bumps, like, along the way since you've been young, and
Mhm.
somehow you just have it in you to not give up.
I
Like
know it,
you
the
said there's been
resilience, you know?
exactly, there's been several auditions you had where you said, "I wasn't accepted," and you just keep going. So tell me, just what made you wanna learn up to 10 instruments, first of all? And then, yeah, and then what led you to Lumid Music?
Yeah. So I guess with cello and like cello ended up becoming guitar, and I was able to kind of transfer the knowledge from cello because it's extremely, extremely hard. You have to be like spot on or you're out of tune. And I just had a dream of like singing and playing cello and offering therapeutic music to people. And the whole mission to Lumid Music, it's an easy way of like spelling, out to find me, Lumid. And I originally it was going to be a band name, but all the band members kind of like went separate ways. And I was like, well, I did coin this term Lumid, and it kind of reminded me of like lucid dreaming and like kind of this, ethereal type of feeling to the word. So yeah, I'm on a mission to create healing music, and I've seen so many miracles happen just through being able to play for people in hospitals and even just in a crowd of people, just at what is it, the like I played all over, and so Tampa was an area. There's a lot of people that came up to me, and like every time I performed, there was always someone that was touched and like crying. And so I started gauging my success for music by touching people's heart in that way. And so if there wasn't someone who cried, I was like, I didn't quite hit the mark.
So do you write your own music
I
too?
do. Yeah, I have so many songs. I've made probably near 100 songs. Now, not all of them are recorded, but majority are. They're kind of in the vault, and I'm going to be releasing a whole bunch soon. That's the plan.
Where are you finding success in your growth? Like, I know you have some channels already. You're on YouTube. You also have a Spotify channel, right?
Yeah.
Awesome. So where are you noticing that you're getting traction?
So what I'll do is I just connect with people. I genuinely care about people's mental health. I think mental health is something that's really powerful to kind of conquer your brain. And I've been really just working hard at healing my traumas. And I think that my resilience kind of comes through that, which is pushing through the hardships of my traumas when I was little.
Wow. Yeah, and so so you cello. Can you list out all the different instruments? Because like I gave up playing piano. I only tried no, I did do clarinet. But anyways, I'm like, yeah, I did not push through. But so
Yeah.
what instruments do you
Okay.
play with?
So I play my first two are cello and guitar. That's kind of what my feature instruments are. And then I play any stringed instruments like violin, viola, bass. I'm like, but I can play it. Banjo, ukulele. I actually went to Greece this past year, and my parents bought me something called a bouzouki and the hammer dulcimer. There's tons of like stringed instruments. So pretty much like it feels so natural to me, you know?
That's so awesome. And then you also, if I remember correctly, because I know here, like you, besides performing for groups, like music therapy is growing, right? It's one of those things that's on demand for different types of groups and associations and children going through who have went through trauma and things like that.
Mhm.
Um, uh, so what have you found to help you locally here? Because the music scene is also kind of taking off here locally, I think.
I
I
think so
mean,
too.
we have some from back in the day too, T-Pain and all that, that's different. But, I there was a women's concert, not too long ago, and I was blown away by the women performers.
Oh man, there we got so much talent here in Tallahassee. So much. And I've actually played with quite a few of these artists. It's so good to connect to them. And I will say a lot of my success is just by connecting to them. And normally like what happens is someone can't do a gig last second and they'll be like, "Hey, who can I call on?" And so that's how I've gotten some of my gigs. And it's just a matter of reaching out and hoping that people get back to you because that's one of the issues is that I've seen is getting a response back from places. And just because you get in once doesn't mean you're coming back kind of deal. And so um, there's a plethora of musicians, but being able to make it as a like right now, that's all I do. That's my career. And I took a step back from teaching because I really wanted to focus on my mental health um, and just write my songs. Like I've been really like working hard in the studio with my buddy Justin. He's my producer and he is so talented and he captures my vision and he brings it to life.
That's awesome. I hope you guys aren't hearing too much of my background noise and my cancellation, because There, for those of you who don't know, parts of my office building was flooded, thanks to that lovely storm that passed through. So
No.
there's some water damaged folks here in the back. But okay, so that is awesome. So there is a producer. I think I might have heard of him. I think I knew there was another music person who told me that they were working with a local producer in town. So is there like a networking group with music or musicians here? Like, how do you just get connected? Is it just through the events that are hosted here?
That's a good question. Because I feel like over time I've just connected with people in that manner of just a conversation here and there at like a event, and that's how it kind of picks up, and you just keep on reaching out. And there is probably the concert you went to. I think it was like uh, the Women Muses or something. I'm pretty sure that there's a little Facebook group that I'm a part of, and we try to encourage each other and show what we're doing here in the community.
Yeah, I know. I think there was a local bar, Blue.
Blue
I
Tavern,
forget what.
yeah.
Yeah, yes, and they highlight like they feature a lot of local artists, and they helped
Mhm.
with the programming. So
Yep,
you probably know a lot of
that
those
was the
performers.
Muses. I remember them talking about it.
Oh yeah, that was so awesome. They're gonna have you on next time.
I have played there once
Seriously.
before, and I will say that was probably the most shocking performance I had because it was like last night, that storm that came through, it was like a monsoon. I'm telling you, it was bad. And we packed out the house. There were no chairs available. Everybody was standing, and I was just like, they're soaking wet. And I'm like, y'all are so great. I love my community.
Yes, there's a very supportive community for local artists. What have you found to also be a great venue for, performing arts or live music besides Blue Tavern? I feel like everybody knows them. So
Yeah,
do you?
well, every month, at on the first Sunday, there's a place called Yvonne Adams, which is on the top of the DoubleTree, and I've for the past, like, almost year, I've been playing there, and that's been one of my kinda go-tos. I'm super fortunate. I had always dreamed to play up there, and here I am playing, for people eating brunch, and they get to enjoy, me playing, and I just enjoy it too, of course, like, sharing my music to anybody who's willing to listen.
That's beautiful. That place is beautiful. And the view is beautiful.
It's probably the
Um,
best view in Tallahassee, I would say. I mean, level 8's pretty good too, but, like, it's right next to the Capitol, and it's a heart of Tallahassee, it feels like.
It's really true. And you mentioned that, and it's funny because I can't believe we didn't see each other there at JMI's event. I think they had mentors speak, and Jerry, with Jerry's Love on the Plate restaurant,
Mhm.
and cafe. She was there, and you mentioned how she helped you a lot through COVID.
She did. Unfortunately, she started right a few months before, and she was sharing some of the setbacks that she experienced. And when I was hearing her setbacks, I was like, oh my goodness, how did she accomplish like so much with what she had? And now she's growing, and her success is so encouraging to me. And she helped me, she hired me with through COVID. We did a live stream, and she just featured me on her website or like on Facebook. And it was just really cool, and she's always kind of like, given my name out to people to help me get my name out there. So I'm like really appreciative of her sharing her setbacks and her successes, because that's part of, you know, fail quick, fail hard, and keep going. And that's kind of my, like, what I've taken along with my resilience to continue through like auditions that I have, and um, know that I'm strong enough to conquer these fears that I have.
I love that. So if people wanted to work with you, do you want them to reach out through your website? Like, what's the best way and fastest way to, get a
Yeah.
hold of you and
Mhm.
Do
Yeah,
you do weddings? Like, what kinds
we
of
do
events do you do?
Yeah, I do a lot of weddings. Oh my goodness. I've done some really fancy weddings. Like I've performed at what is it? The Ringling Museum and I think that's in Sarasota. Yeah, Sarasota. And I mean to the nines. Like some of these like like a few in Miami and Key West. I've toured Ireland with Rachel Hellman. I think she played. I want to say she might have played at that event that you might have went to. But overall, just like I'm so blessed. Like it's taken a lot of hard work. I used to practice 8 hours a day. Like I was pretty adamant about it because I knew that at the like deep down, that's my calling. Like that's what I'm meant to do is bring people happiness. Like I come into a situation, I see someone really depressed and you kind of match that where they are and then you slowly start to just put in music that's uplifting.
Wow, that is so awesome. I need to stream your music. Because I think everybody, even though it's been 4 years, after COVID, I think we've all gone through something
Mm,
personally, and I think a lot of people are looking for healing, you know?
for sure.
And for whatever it is, whether people were stuck at homes and, the whole job situation with people being unstable and all
Yeah,
of
a
that.
lot of people lost loved ones and dealing
Right.
with, getting over that kind of deal. I feel like everybody's experienced some sort of trauma in their life, and I don't care if it's so small to you. It's not small in your mind. It's not like we all create these stories that kind of stick with us. And part of my story is being involved in human trafficking and I'm a survivor, and I deal with those traumas. Um, I had compounding trauma. I lost 4 loved ones in the matter of 3 weeks, and like it was
Oh
just
my gosh.
yeah,
I'm sorry.
it's. I mean, those things really just push you outside of your comfort zone and you're like, "What do I do now? What do I do now?" But you just gotta keep on hanging in there. That was always what my papa said, "Keep hanging in there."
I love that.
I did
Yeah,
wanna
and
talk about something real quick. I did have a major setback this past
yeah.
year.
Mhm.
I had, half of my music removed off of streaming platforms, and that was heartbreaking to me because of distribution company issues, and, yeah, I was, like, devastated because one of my most popular songs, "Over the Moon," got removed, and people are always asking me, What happened to Over the Moon? I wanna, like, listen to it." And, it is coming out the end of this month. I was able to put it back up, so y'all look forward to that, and I have a bunch of
That's
other
great.
things too. But, yeah, that was one of the setbacks that I dealt with this year, and it's been hard to organize my thoughts of how to release things, and I'm wearing so many hats, like, I'm my own marketer, I'm doing a lot. So right now I'm, like, in a transition of finding people, my tribe to help me, along this path, and I do feel like I'm having a team of people start to, like, really come behind me and lift me up, and in turn, I also get to lift them up as well.
That's great. And I had heard too that Spotify made some changes to their platform too, and it cost a lot of independent artists, some things. I mean, obviously, even Taylor Swift is not
Oh,
she
yeah,
was really
she was kind of against that. Yeah, I will say it is kind of unfair that,
Mhm.
these people are like, these platforms are making a lot of money, but the artists are becoming starving artists.
Right. Yeah, and I'm glad you brought up how you said you have multiple hats because musicians are really quintessential entrepreneurs. You have to do everything. Like you're
Mhm.
doing all the work. You have to put yourself out there and perform, and then you have to market yourself, and then just do outreach. It's like not easy at all. but you
Mm-mm.
keep going, and it's really inspirational.
Yeah,
So
that little by little is what causes success, that consistency. Lord knows how I did it because there are so many days that I'm like, I'm done. I'm done. I was like, there's no more I could take. But then here I am still, auditioning. I auditioned for Margaritaville this past like 2 days ago, and that was
oh
nerve
my gosh,
wracking.
when do you hear back?
I'm not sure, and I just didn't ask. I mean, if it's meant to be, it's meant to be, and I have to, like, look at it I mean, I've faced so much rejection before, so if they say no, they say no. If they say yes.
I yeah, that's the whole thing. I mean, you mentioned earlier too, like you thought it was just gonna be like one of the initial vetting, but it was like
Yeah.
executives. Is that what you're
Yeah,
saying?
I thought that originally it was gonna just, be for Panama City, the Latitudes, that, like, retirement community, and it ended up like being like all these like executive people from Hilton Head Island and Daytona and yeah, I don't like auditions. But I've faced my fear, like I've been avoiding auditions, and but I'm glad that I did face it. And when like my mentor always says, when you push past your comfort zone, you enter your strength zone. And so I encourage people to step out of your comfort zone and into your strength zone.
I love that. I'm glad you reminded me of, about the question about mentorship because I mean, I think anyone who's willing to go out there and audition in the first place is brave than most people. And
Mhm.
to sing and to, you're putting your whole heart out there, and that is opening up everything that's vulnerable inside of you.
Mhm.
So for you to go to American Idol, to go through that whole process, and then even what you're doing with Margaritaville, I'm just like, you're still going. That is just awesome. So do you have, several mentors, or do you have a few
Oh
that
yeah,
you go to? And yeah,
definitely. One of my mentors, I actually met her through scuba diving, and that was one of my hugest fears was water. If someone just splashed me in the face, I freaked out.
scuba
Because
diving
I
is
almost
scary.
drowned when I was little. Like I was pushed into a pool and I sank, and unfortunately, no adults were there.
Oh my
And
goodness.
and my cousin ran to grab my other cousin, and she came out and jumped in with all her clothes on and pulled me out. And there was another time that I also like I was at a water park, and my tube flipped over and I was stuck in a rapid. So anytime like that trauma in itself too, I was terrified, and I really had to push past that. And but yeah, Gabrielle is my mentor right now, like my main mentor, and she is such a blessing to my heart. She's just and like ministers to me all the time. Like when I think that I'm like down and out, she always uplifts me. And I think it's so important to find people that are, just mentor mentee. It's like a constant like intertwined thing, like because we all offer help to one another. And something that I struggle with my mentorship, I had a mentor. She was like a second mom to me when I was living down in Lakeland, and unfortunately, she passed away of cancer. And
Oh wow.
something about Gabrielle is that she has cancer, and of course, I've lost a lot of people, so it's like that terrifies me, but I have to just, kind of trust God that things are going to work out the way they're supposed to. Uh,
Wow.
and we just do our best to make the world a better place here in the present moment.
I love that mindset, and I'm so sorry about that, to hear that. And but I'm glad you're honoring her and giving her a shout out.
Mhm.
Gabrielle, if you get to watch this, I hope you're proud. But yeah, no, I mean, I just like that's what keeps me going is hearing someone like you who's been through so much, and for you to keep pushing on, because I have not gone through any kind of major trauma at all, or maybe I blocked it out. I don't know, a long time ago.
That is true. There's definitely
That's what I hear that people do. Yeah, because apparently I do not remember anything before the age of 5. But yes, I like when I hear of people surviving, the trauma that they have been through, like that just keeps me going to like, okay, if they can do it, I can push through too. Um, so yeah, no, I mean, like for those of you who haven't seen, like she's looks like you have a genre that I love. I love Lindsay Sterling. So it sounds like you have a style that you kind of
yeah,
follow. Yeah, she's
for
great.
her, like, I first saw her and I was like, "Oh, man, she can dance and play violin? What's stopping me from learning how to sing and play at the same time?" And that's one of my unique factors that I bring in is that, um, I had this dream also to create a light up cello, and finally, with my buddy Dave, we had to drill holes into my cello, and that was so nerve-wracking, and there was several points where I was like, "This isn't gonna work. This isn't gonna work." But it
Without
worked,
breaking it.
and so now I have a light up cello.
That is awesome. Oh my gosh. I'm gonna have to see it. And you performed with bands too. So do bands like reach out to you and say, "Hey, can you join us?"
Yeah.
That's so cool.
Yeah,
Disney
so
Springs.
yeah, I got to go play at Disney Springs. That was one of my favorite performances. It was with the band Amberlin, which I used to listen to them in high school, and I could not believe that they chose me to come. And I got to play, I think it was 3 times with them. I did the hard, no, not the Hard Rock, the House of Blues at Disney Springs, and then was featured also in Ybor, so Tampa.
Cool.
Mhm.
Yeah. Awesome. And for people who want to find you, like would love to share and make sure before we have to unfortunately end soon. But yeah, lumidmusic.com and people can connect with you, follow you, listen to your music, share your music. And do you have if your album is going to come out, like people can buy your music?
Yeah, I'm working on, I had some talks yesterday with people about redoing my website so that I can more easier, to, like, sell it online rather than, put it on Spotify because I really don't want my music being removed again because that's disheartening.
No, I know. I know. And I've heard Patreon's pretty good. I don't know if you've ever tested it
Yeah, I
out.
heard about Patreon. That might be a good option. I've never really thought about it because I just, sometimes I'm just like, I need to just do it myself kind of deal. And I just kind of live off of, what is it? Like just revenues from performing out. And my parents are a big help too. They're my greatest supporters, and I'm super fortunate for them.
Matt, can you hear me? Okay.
Yep, I hear you.
Sorry.
It's all good.
Yeah, it was like kind of timing out for a second. No, that's awesome. I'm so glad you have the support, the support circle that we all need. We need that. And for those of you who are catching this interview later on, we will have links and we will make sure that you guys can find her so that you don't have to type it all in. So usually in our episodes, we have links at the bottom, wherever you see it on YouTube, LinkedIn, Facebook, and yeah. And so hopefully you get some exposure through this and you got to let us know. Let me know because I have a newsletter that focuses on business, tech, and events. Like we would love to share anything that you're going to be featured at as a local artist. If you're going to perform live, we would love to share that. So
Perfect. Yeah.
thank you, Lauren. Is there anything that you'd like to say one more time as far as just like last piece of advice for those budding artists that are out there?
Yeah, I think that we need to help one another. That's like the biggest thing. We can't do it alone. We need our tribe and we need encouragement. When one person is down, we can uplift, them and vice versa. If I'm down, someone's going to help me through that. So it's really important for that.
And thank you, Laura, for hopping on and watching. See if you
That's my
say
mom. Love you, mom.
that's so sweet. Oh, that's awesome. But yeah, no, thank you, Lauren, for hopping on, and I really appreciate you taking the time to touch on your story a little bit, and I wish you the best. I
Oh, thank
wish you all the success, and I really let us know about Margaritaville.
Yeah. Yeah. One way or another, it's gonna take traction. I've been building this brand, this like who I am. I've been working on it, and I know that I'm gonna be set up for success. So yeah.
Absolutely, keep going. All right, so as I mentioned to you earlier, with the funny StreamYard, they add a few seconds, but I'll go ahead and end the show. And anyone who wants to be a guest in the future, we would love to have you. Thanks, Lauren. I'll see you on the other side.
All right. Bye.